I'm sitting out here in my favorite place in the world, which is my back porch. I'm here at night, I'm here in the morning, during the day when it's too hot to sit out here. My laundry gets dried out here, my sun tea gets made out here. If I do some solar oven work, it's out here. I'll entertain guests out here. Like, I don't know, there's something about this place that is magical. You can probably hear the highway. Right now it's commute hour. I live in a isolated area, but right off the highway. I don't know if you've ever taken those highways that go through forest land or go through, country or whatever. Even though a highway goes through it, it's still pretty isolated. So one of the reasons I picked this particular house was not just because it was beautiful, but because it was close to the highway. A friend of mine worked for years for Caltrans, which does all the highway maintenance and everything that has to do with the highways here in California. And he lives further up north, and he told me he always advises people to buy a house near the highway, because if you live in the snow, it's the first thing that gets plowed is the highway. And even though I don't live in the snow, I am now very happy I live by a highway, because first responders can get here quickly, and if I ever need to evacuate, I can get out of here quickly because they will keep the highways clear and safe. So I do enjoy thousands and thousands of acres of wildlife and of this forest setting, but I'm also very close to the highway, so it's really the best of both worlds. So let me give you a tour of my back porch here. I have two chairs on the back porch. I can bring more in, but I generally just use these two. This one faces in one direction. It's the chair I'm sitting in right now to do this video. And my other chair faces in this direction. Here you can see my gardening apron. I shook that out. I made an apron with lots of pockets that holds my phone and my shovel or whatever else I need. I really love it. And over here to the left is my outdoor solar laundry drying area. I have a standing garment rack and a rack where I can just fold things like towels and stuff. They dry really, really fast here. I also have an ashtray right here. I personally do not smoke, but it seems like everyone else who lives in this county smokes. So I accommodate that by having an ashtray in the back. I also have an ashtray in the front, which is full of big butts. Why? Because when people come to the door and they're smoking, no matter what stage their cigarette is at, they will put it out. I leave the big butts there because every once in a while someone comes to the door and says, I really need a cigarette. So I point them to the ashtray full of big butts and I say, help yourself. And they do. The big butts might need replenishing soon. There's been a epidemic of anxiety lately. It's my guess. I need a cigarette. The weather and what's going to happen with the winter weather is always a huge source of anxiety. It's right after Labor Day right now, and I was reading that Labor Day is when the Farmer's Almanac is released. So I went down the rabbit's hole of the Farmer's Almanac, and it has planting predictions, weather. I think that's mainly what people go to the almanac, in addition to stuff like recipes and articles and things like that. So I went online. I just started exploring it. The accuracy of the weather is anywhere between 52% with the Farmer's Almanac to 70 and 80%, depending on who you ask. So I looked a little bit to see how they predict their weather, and they predict their weather like everyone else with meteorological technology and predictive technology and sonar and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's all pretty clear that we know winter is going to be tough in the Northeast, and in the Midwest there's going to be hurricanes, there's going to be tornadoes. It's going to be dry and less rainy, excuse me, in the West, and there's going to be hurricanes, there's going to be tornadoes. Things have changed. There has been a change, we all know that. The devastating fires of the last few years have been a major change here. It's part of the climate change we're experiencing. However, the Farmer's Almanac and other predictions I've seen have said that we are going to have another mild winter here on the West Coast. There's going to be some snowfall, but not huge amounts. So I was in the front yard about a week ago talking to my neighbor, and most of my neighbors have lived here on this mountain their whole lives, decades, and they are a wealth of information and knowledge. So I was talking to her about the fact my creek had dried out and what did she feel was going to happen, and she goes, don't worry, it's September, everything dries out. And she said, have you noticed the squirrels? There's a lot of squirrel activity. I said, yeah, I have a lot of squirrel activity, more than I've ever seen. She goes, it's going to be a cold winter. I said, how do you know? She said, well, all the squirrels are running around hiding their food and putting their food away for the winter. That made sense. So I don't care what the almanac says, the Farmer's Almanac says, the news station says, what Wonderground says. I'm going with my neighbor and the squirrels. So I'm going to be enjoying these last fleeting days of summer, the fall, and hunkering down for a cold winter. Hope you are all doing well, and wherever you are, whatever time of year it is, I hope you are all safe and happy and doing well. Thank you so much for watching. And here's the sky right now. Sun still hasn't made it over the hill, but that's okay, it will be here soon enough.